What if Nezuko became a demon slayer instead of Tanjiro? How strong would she be? Would she be able to awaken sun breathing? And most importantly, would she and her demon brother be able to take revenge and defeat the demon lord Muzan? Well, firstly, she would try to carry Tanjiro to a doctor since she doesn't yet understand what happened to him. She would also encounter Giyu, and same as her brother, would persuade him not to kill them. Nezuko would have the same determination as Tanjiro, wanting to get revenge and stop demons at any cost. Based on this, we can assume that she'd also master the water breathing and easily pass the final selection. However, the first major difference would happen when Nezuko arrives in Tokyo. Contrary to Tanjiro, Nezuko doesn't have an enhanced sense of smell and, therefore, wouldn't meet Muzan at all. Since she didn't meet Muzan, she also never fought Susumaru and Yahaba, and most importantly, she never met Tamayo. This may sound like it's not a big deal, but it will actually make Nezuko's journey a lot harder. This is only one of the many ways that would be different in this version of the story, and I bet you'll be very happy about one change in particular. Anyway, she'd eventually team up with Zenitsu and Inosuke during the Tsutsumi Mansion arc. Of course, Zenitsu would instantly fall in love with her, nothing unusual here, but she would unfortunately only see him as a friend. Mount Natagumo is the place where things start to get pretty hard for Nezuko. Here, she would have to fight the lower rank 5 demon Rui. The fight would go okay for Nezuko at the beginning, but that would all change suddenly when Rui activates his enhanced threads. At this moment, Tanjiro remembered the Hinokami Kagura dance his father used to perform. But would Nezuko be able to do the same? Well, I don't think so. Firstly, she was younger than Tanjiro at that time and didn't pay much attention to the Hinokami Kagura dance. Also, her father never talked to her about it and instead gave all information along with Hanafuda earrings to Tanjiro. So how will Nezuko survive this attack? Well, although Tanjiro is a demon now, he still retains some of his human memories. If he senses that his sister is in grave danger, this should push him to unlock all of these memories and activate his hidden powers. He obviously wouldn't be able to use actual sun breathing, but he would probably manage to adapt everything he knows about Kagura dance and come up with a way to use it as a blood demon art. Nezuko's determination and Tanjiro's newfound powers should be enough for them to defeat Rui. Due to his knowledge of the Kagura dance, Tanjiro would be a much stronger demon than Nezuko. He would easily be on a Demon Moon level. Alright, since you guys are Demon Slayer fans, I take it you like beautiful anime graphics, superpowers, and amazing fights with monsters? If I'm right, then you'll definitely love Path to Nowhere, which is the sponsor of today's video. Path to Nowhere is an anime game with absolutely stunning graphics that features RPG elements and gacha mechanics. It's definitely not one of those childish mobile games that you are used to seeing. It actually revolves around much darker themes like crime, prison, and gangs. You play as a chief of Crisis Control Bureau, and your job is to punish and enlist superpowered criminals to fight against evil monsters. These prisoners are known as sinners, and each one of them has unique abilities and powers. The character design is also very cool, and each character is easily distinguishable with semi-imposto Japanese art style. If you want to be really unique, you can also acquire additional attires for your sinners. There are a bunch of sinners you can unlock, but my favorite is Nox. I really like her design, and she has this huge sword that I can't wait to use in battle. The thing I like most about this game is the strategy and tactical thinking required to beat some of the levels. Path to Nowhere is very innovative and has some special mechanics that make it stand out. For example, there are elite enemy cores that can only be destroyed with Sinner's ultimate abilities. Download Path to Nowhere now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code. And once you're in the game, you can enter my special gift code that will grant you some amazing gifts. Anyway, after this, Tanjiro and Nezuko would eventually be accepted by the Hashiras and go on their next mission with Rengoku. Since the Demon Slayer duo is much stronger at this point than in the original story, Mujin Train arc would play out really differently. After some struggle, Nezuko and Inosuke would be able to defeat Enmu, and Rengoku engages Akaza in one-on-one battle. However, one thing that's different this time around is that Tanjiro is there to help him. They clearly wouldn't be able to defeat Akaza, but at least they could survive together until dawn. This would mean that Rengoku would actually survive the incident and would be able to help the Hashiras in all of their future battles. Come on guys, I literally saved Rengoku from dying. That deserves at least a subscribe. Look, even Rengoku agrees with me. Sometime after this, the main trio would undertake another mission, this time in the entertainment district with Tenjin. The fact that Nezuko is a human will make another huge difference in this arc. Okay, so after they arrive at the district, they will encounter Daki and Gyutaro, the upper rank demons. Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Nezuko would engage Daki since she is a weaker one, while Tenjin and Tanjiro would engage Gyutaro. This fight would play out pretty similar to the original story, with demon slayers decapitating both demons simultaneously. So what's the catch? Well, after the fight, Inosuke and Tenjin were grievously injured and poisoned, and who was the one who saved them? That's right, it was Nezuko with her blood demon art. This time, the only demon is Tanjiro, and his blood demon art is completely different. Unfortunately, this would mean that both Inosuke and Tenjin would die during this arc. With one of the main characters dying, how will the story continue? Would the Demon Slayer still be able to win in the end? Since Inosuke wasn't a part of the Swordsman Village arc, we can assume that this arc would play out pretty similar to the original. The only difference would be that Tanjiro would be the one to gain immunity to the sun instead of Nezuko. This would make a lot of sense, considering that he already has Hinokami Kagura powers and comes from a lineage of sun-breathing users. Okay, now comes the most important part, the Infinity Castle arc, and there are many things that are different now. Firstly, Rengoku is alive, which is very good. Inosuke and Tenjin are dead, which is not so good. And Tanjiro is a very strong demon who can help a lot in the final battle. Do you remember when I said that Nezuko not meeting Tamayo back in Tokyo would make her journey much harder? Well, it's here that we'll see exactly why. In the original story, Tanjiro collected blood samples from strong demons and sent them to Tamayo so she could create a medicine that turns demons back into humans. With these samples and Shinobu's help, Tamayo made this medicine, which greatly helped the Slayers fight against Muzan. However, Nezuko never collected these samples, and therefore Tamayo's drug will not be fully ready by the time Muzan arrives. Alright, so how would the final battle play out? Muzan arrives and talks to Kagaya, the house explodes, and Muzan is injured. Tamayo arrives and injects him with the drug. Although Muzan is incredibly weakened by its effects, he doesn't need to make a cocoon and regenerate, and can instead engage the Slayers immediately. This is really dangerous, since Slayers would have to fight both Muzan and Upper Moons at the same time. Can they manage to pull it off? Muzan lets off a psychopathic laugh as he pulls everyone into the Infinity Castle. A calm voice of Muzan rings throughout the castle, welcoming them to his abode.
Welcome to your death, you lowly humans. A world of demons is the only true future.
Suddenly, the castle begins to spin again, and this time it throws the Hashiras in various directions. The final battle is about to begin, and it is clear that something of an epic proportion is about to happen, and it won't end well for one side. A flock of low-tier demons descends from the top of the castle. However, it turns out to be easy work for the pillars as they slice through the weak demons with various forms of their breathing styles. At that moment, with the last low-tier demon defeated, the Upper Moons arrive, standing before their respective opponents. Nezuko and her demon brother are shocked to see none other than Muzan, the demon lord, standing right in front of them. Muzan mocks them, calling them pathetic weaklings. He looks at Tanjiro especially, licking his lips, as the boy he has been chasing for a while now is finally within his grasp. Muzan launches blood whips at Tanjiro, but the boy is too shocked to move. Nezuko dives in at the last moment, pushing her brother away, and they both barely avoid the hit as the ground breaks open from the impact of the whip. He laughs and says that was only a warning, and that the next time he attacks, he'll be much more serious. Without any hesitation, Muzan sends a barrage of whips at them. They narrowly manage to dodge the attack, but not without a few cuts and injuries.
We barely started fighting and you're already panting. This is why I hate humanity. Your limitations are a curse. It's painful to even look at you.
You are the one who is cursed. Your entire existence is an abnormality that should have never existed.
Tanjiro continues from where she stopped.
We are here to put an end to you and rid the world of demons once and for all.
You can say whatever you want, but the only way this ends is with me devouring you and gaining immunity to sunlight. I'll finally become truly invincible, and I'll rule the world forever!
Nezuko, enraged, lashes out at Muzan, attacking him with water-breathing 10th form.
Constant flux!
Muzan refuses to block, seeing it as trivial. However, the water dragon appears behind Nezuko and the attack starts to get stronger and stronger. This leads to an opening for Tanjiro to jump in and attack with his blood demon art, Sun Massacre. Fire, shaped as multiple sharp objects, suddenly appears and seemingly pierces through Muzan. He screams out in shock, but when the demon slayers look closer, they realize that Muzan has blocked the attack and he only screams to mock them.
Is this the best you can do? So pathetic. Let me show you what a real attack looks like.
Muzan brings out his whips again, and by the time he is done, Nezuko has lost her left arm while Tanjiro is on his knees as thick drops of blood drop down all over the floor around him. Muzan says to them,
Nezuko, you should be on your knees like your brother. Only that's appropriate for someone who opposes me. Both of you are weak and pathetic, and now you will die like all others before you.
You're right. As humans, we are weak and fragile. I know that. But one thing that we'll never do is bow before someone like you.
Nezuko's words give Tanjiro the much-needed strength to stand up, and the siblings form a stance. The Demon Lord is annoyed. However, notices something different about Nezuko. He looks closer and notices that she has awakened her Demon Slayer mark. She whispers a few things to Tanjiro, then screams at Muzan, saying,
My brother and I have an unbreakable bond. You can't possibly imagine the things we've been through together. I'll never let you have him. This is where we'll finally stop you.
The siblings combine their techniques, Nezuko's water breathing and Tanjiro's sun blood demon art. The attack is so powerful that it makes cracks in the floor where they were standing. The combination of water and fire techniques leads to a huge smoke that greatly reduces Muzan's vision. All of a sudden, they jump out from the smoke behind Muzan and cleanly slash him across his body. As soon as he tries to counter, the siblings have already disappeared in the smoke again. They repeat this a few more times, and each time they land a perfect hit on a seemingly helpless demon lord. As the smoke vanishes, Tanjiro and Nezuko can be seen exhausted but hopeful as they finally manage to deal some serious damage to Muzan. They look up, and the hope on their faces immediately disappears when they see that Muzan is already completely healed.
You did well. I am quite impressed. But unfortunately for you, I am not an average Upper Moon demon. These attacks have no chance of harming me. This is the end of the road for you.
Muzan launches the strongest attack yet, and the siblings can only watch in despair, knowing they have no chance of dodging it. As death approaches them, they hear a soft voice.
Water breathing, 11th form, dead calm.
Giyu arrived at the last moment and deflected Muzan's attack, saving the siblings. The Demon King is pissed, but he's also shocked that Giyu defeated one of his upper moons. In disbelief, Muzan looks at Giyu, and behind him, all the other Hashira appear, one by one. Muzan cannot believe his eyes and uses his senses to try and get in contact with the upper moons, but he can't. All of them have been defeated. The Hashiras encourage Tanjiro and Nezuko to stand up and help them one last time in the final battle for humanity. Everyone vows to fight with everything they have and stall Muzan until dawn. After a long battle, almost all the Hashira can be seen lying on the ground, dead. Nezuko, Tanjiro, and Giyu are the only ones left standing. As the sun rises, they jump toward Muzan and hold him with their bare hands. In complete agony and disbelief, Muzan screams as he disintegrates, defeated by the mere humans he hated the most. Click on this video where we explain what would happen if Rengoku accepted Akaza's offer to transform. Trust me, you really need to see this one.